have to be able to lie in the dirt, in the heat all day. Camel spiders walking on you. Well, a favorite tactic of ISIS is the suicide truck. And the more desperate they get, the more trucks they send. Of course, you don't want them coming near you. In my one unit, we had 5 trucks come at us in one day. You just want to keep the enemy as far away from you as you can, right? You see them, you shoot at them. You don't want them getting close enough to you that they can start throwing grenades and shit at you. Keep them away. You know, if you can kill them, great. All I know is that when we are shooting them, when we are killing them, the girls are doing that Middle East yodel to let them know that it's the women who are killing you. Like in the beginning, I would wonder, you know, like, oh, well, you know, they had a mother that loved them and stuff like that. Now it's just like, my friends had mothers that loved them too. The best way to describe Kobani at that time was obliterated. I mean, so many were killed there. It really is the martyred city. And it's just rubble. A lot of kids living in the rubble. The country's been reduced to nothing, so yeah, I don't blame them for wanting to leave. The refugees were just fleeing Syria. Some went across the border in Turkey and then took rafts over to Greece. I feel sorry for the ones that stayed, actually, because there's so much. There's no guarantee of peace in the future. There's always going to be another war. They had an opportunity to leave and they took it. I don't blame them at all. We would do the same thing. Now they have a chance at a new life. We would all do the same thing. I would. A lot of people keep asking me to help them get to Canada. If I had a seat on a plane for everybody who asked me to help them, the plane would be full. I was not used to hanging around with a lot of girls. I didn't grow up in the West hanging out with girls. You know, as a tomboy, most of my friends were boys and stuff, so I used to fight and throw rocks and climb trees with them. But, you know, by the time I went to my second unit, I was really starting to bond with the girls. When people are shooting at you and you're shooting back, I think that kind of stress, you know, knowing that we're living on that edge is what brings us close together. You know, we all suffer together. So like the girls in my units, I love them so much. Whoa, 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 not too much gas, you're gonna do a wheelie. The YPJ is an all-women's army, but we share the fight with the men. We're in the trenches with the men. The person sitting next to you with the RPG could be a guy or a girl. It's equal like that. The biggest battle I was in was Talabia. June 14th. 14th? June 14th. It's a good day. Sunday.
Hi, Mom.
It was a key city, because as soon as we took Talabia, then we cut off ISIS supplies from Turkey. So we jumped into what we call the pig. It's a bulldozer with steel plates welded on it, and we headed to the front line. That was an incoming.
Yes, that way comes.
We shot back and forth with this bridge, and we would crawl up to the bridge, and then ISIS would start shooting at us, which would reveal their position. So then we would pull back, and then we would call airstrikes in their position. At one point, I saw a bunch of guys running across the road on the bridge. Within like 2 minutes, boom, airstrike. Oh. not standing there anymore. We had to capture the bridge to get to the city, right? There's some senior commanders there, and they're just like, okay, you 6 go take it. You know, there's like 100 ISIS fighters there, and we're supposed to be the 6 of us. We're the attacking party on Tel Abyad. So I'm on the berm, looking at the city, which is about 500 meters away still. I see 2 guys in like a staircase, and one of them is like in the prone position, so you know he's a sniper. Well, I guess the sniper was looking at me at the same time, because all day you hear bullets going by, but then you know I heard it go by, but I also felt it just over top of my head. Back on this hill, we're shooting at right now. Bunker in there. Our group of 6 has turned into a group of 20. I don't know if you can see it, but we started in this building down here. Came up in the tank, crossed this bridge that was all blowed up. I almost fell in. I'm 46 years old and too old for this shit. That's no protein diet for the last 3 months. I've lost so much muscle mass. Right now, Dash is just over this hill. And they have a hot spot, so we're letting loose on it with Big C and Sniper. So that's the way we spent the day. About 7 o'clock that evening, though, we were finally able to capture the bridge. And then we held it overnight.
Kurdish forces in Syria have taken almost full control of the border town of Tel Abyad from the ISIL terrorists.
It was the fight that had a definite result. I mean, there were some other fights I had been in, but that was the one that had a definite result. This seems to go from fighting to celebrating pretty quick. You have to make peace with the fact that you could die to go do this. You can't go there thinking, oh, it's not going to happen to me. Because it happens. It happens so much. Like one of the guys I was on that berm with was killed. And this is kind of a weird thing, but I actually like the fighting. I like the sound and the smell and the stress and the ground shaking and all that. I like that. There are people that are wired to fight, right? I've always kind of liked fighting. I grew up fighting. I grew up fighting with boys, right? I think if you let it bother you, if it gets to you, then you're just going to make yourself sick. You're just going to drive yourself nuts. The stuff that people would assume would bother me, like all the bodies and the body parts and the smell of burning people, doesn't bother me at all. When somebody dies, so like someone from our unit gets killed, we bury them. And then we decorate the grave. It's very emotional. I've helped bury 3 comrades, 3 friends. In Tel Abyad in 2015, I had lost 30 pounds. I was really sick. I'd had a moment where I realized just how weak I had become. I've lost weight. This is a no-no here. Started over, can't see. Started over here, and way over here. I saw myself in the mirror for the first time in 3 months the other day. So I keep losing weight, I'm going to have to come back. There's just no way, this is just not healthy. I'd lost 30 pounds in 3 months. And I couldn't, when I went there, I was about 145 pounds. I had become so weak, I could barely hold my gear up. A week or 2 later, I was on my way home. I went home thinking that I was done. Physical exhaustion had manifested into mental exhaustion. But after a few weeks of eating normal food and resting and stuff like that, I realized I wasn't done. I felt so guilty. You know, I'd go to a restaurant, I'd be eating steak and drinking wine, and I was thinking about the girls in my units who were back here just eating crushed tomatoes and rice, drinking dirty water and stuff. I don't know. They always say, oh, why would you Westerners leave the comfort of your home, your safe countries to come here and help people you don't even know? I believe they deserve to be as free as I am in my country. As a Western volunteer, we have the luxury of always going home. But over there, they don't. They're stuck there. That's it. I mean, they have to live it. They don't get to go home. That is their home. So I support them completely, right? Because they're trying to build something that we've taken for granted. I get a lot of death threats from the enemy online. They like to send me messages saying what they're going to do to me and stuff like that.